If you want to find out what is the number one source of sellers you're not using right now, check out this video. I go in depth, the tools, the scripts, the process, and how to get more listings. Let's jump into it. If you want to get the latest tips for real estate marketing, outbound prospecting, crush that subscribe button. We release a video every single week. Hey there, folks. So every few months, I like to do a really simple experiment. I go on to the largest Facebook groups for real estate agents in the country, in the world, and I ask a very simple question. Where did you get your last listing? And I usually get hundreds upon hundreds of responses. But guess what? There's always consistently one lead source that stands out above the rest. The one lead source that agents use to get 80 to 90% of their listings. And that lead source is your personal database. Now, before you roll your eyes, hear me out, folks. I know you've heard it time and time again. You got to market to your database. You got to use your SOI. You got to talk to your friends and family. But here's the reality. Very few agents actually do it. We're coming off one of the big sellers markets in all of history. We got very accustomed to having our database and our sphere come to us. There's actually very few agents out there that know how to properly market and prospect their own personal database. A properly marketed database should yield 10 to 15% referrals every single year. If you have 100 people in your database, you should be getting 10 to 15 referrals from those folks every single year if you do it the right way. Most agents just don't know how to do this the right way, and that's why I created this video today to give you the simple steps that are very easy to get the most out of your database. Now, I want to tell you a quick story. This was the end of 2023, towards the end of the summer, and we had an agent that hired us at Power ISA. She hired us to get her an ISA, run her Facebook ads, scale up her business. But there was something that I noticed immediately. When I checked in with her and evaluated her business, I asked her, hey, I see that you're used to getting 15, 20 deals from your personal database. How many have you gotten this year? And she said only 3 deals from her personal database. And I asked her, have you ever actually called them and marketed to them the right way? And she said no, she had never had to in the past. People were just reaching out to her. She was posting on social media and people would just message her or comment asking for help. I told her that was good enough during 2020, 21, maybe 2022, but that was not going to cut it in 2023 or in the future. She had to be more proactive when reaching out to her database. So she went through the steps I'm about to talk to right now. She did it in September. She created her own personal database for the very first time. She held her very first client event that month. And within 90 days, by December of 2023, she had closed 2 transactions and gotten $20,000 in commissions. Now, folks, this was an agent that was not having a great year in 2023. So that was a huge boom to her business. And now she's set up to create even more business from her personal database. And those funds, that money is going to help her pay for a personal ISA and Facebook ads and other ways to grow her business. But it's true when they say your database is your business. Your personal sphere and database should be the foundation of your entire business and allows you to expand and try other forms of lead generation. A lot of agents really struggle with reaching out to their database and asking them for help building their business. They're afraid of coming off as too salesy. No one wants to be the multi-level marketer calling up their friends and family. But folks, I think that's a huge mistake. You're thinking about it the wrong way. And thoughts matter. You should reframe it and think about it this way. If you had a $10,000 bill to give away to your friends and family, would you give them a call? Would you want to have a conversation with them? I think you would. And that is how you should think about your services as a professional real estate agent. Would you want your friends and family to work with anyone else other than you? Would you want their friends and family to work with anyone else that's going to treat them the same way that you would? If you think about it that way, it might make your phone calls and your outreach that much easier. Another big fear that agents have about calling their database, friends, family, past clients, is that they're going to get mad. They're going to get upset. Why haven't you called me in the last year, in the last 5 years? You never reach out to me. How dare you call me now to ask me for help building your business? And folks, I want to clarify, this is not an objection that is based in reality, okay? That never happens. Folks don't actually respond that way. People are typically going to be happy that you reached out to them. These are folks that already know, like, and trust you and have a personal connection to you. More often than not, they are super happy from you and connect with you. So that objection doesn't actually happen. It's mostly going to concern us in our own heads. Now that I've hopefully gotten you in the right mindset to prospect and market to your database, let's jump into my 3 steps to maximize and dominate your database and get deals from it every single month. Step number 1 is build your database. Folks, you might have people on your phone, on your social media account, in your email account. You probably have your database everywhere. And if your database is everywhere, it's actually nowhere. So, step number 1 is to create an Excel spreadsheet, a Google Sheet, and drop the name, email, and phone number of every single person across those different devices and put them all in a single place. These should be any single person you know that if you called, texted them, or emailed them, they would know who you are. That's the basic definition of every single person that should be in your database. And if you're someone that was born and raised in the US and you don't have at least 200 people in that list, you're not trying hard enough. You would be hard pressed to not be able to find at least a couple hundred people that you went to school with, you are a co-worker of, you go to church with, you're related to, you play sports with. Folks, you want to go wide because the size of your database, the amount of people you have a personal connection to, can be huge for your business. A really common issue that I see in this first step is that agents really tend to overthink this. They think they have to go purchase a brand new CRM. They've got to buy an amazing tool. They got to buy some software. And I tell folks, keep it simple. Create an Excel spreadsheet and a Google Sheet, and you can manage that for years because your personal database does not need a bunch of marketing automation, automated SMS, automated voicemail drops. That's not the purpose of those tools. Those tools are geared towards unmet internet leads, not your personal database. I'm going to talk about the proper way to market that database, but to do that, you only need a spreadsheet and your phone. During my career as a real estate agent in Seattle, I closed over 100 transactions my first 3 years just from a list of 200 people that I knew. And I had only lived in that area for less than 10 years. So, folks, this 100% can work if you work it properly. Number 2 is to market to your database. Now, there are many ways to accomplish this. One of my first recommendations for you is to make sure that you add your entire database to your social media accounts. Social media is one of the best ways to stay on top of things and be front and center for your entire database. Social media can be a great way to connect with your database and stay top of mind every single day. You should be engaging with your audience on social media by liking, commenting on their posts, messaging them through the platform, and making sure you're always interacting with them and adding value. This typically only takes 15 to 20 minutes per day. You do a little bit every single day until you cover everyone in your database every few weeks or even every few months. But my favorite, absolute favorite way to market and prospect my database is through the concept of client events. Client events were always the foundation of my business. I would hold 4 client events a year, and I called through every single person in my database to invite them to that event. These events can be something as simple as a first time homebuyer class. You can just rent out a room from your brokerage, from your office, and invite everyone to a free first time homebuyer class that you're going to help them walk them through the process of buying a home. The point is, it is something that your database perceives as valuable, and it's something you can easily deliver and help them out on this journey. And here's the punchline, folks: the actual event doesn't really matter. The most important thing is calling through your database, every single person on that list, inviting them to the event, and number two, as always, asking them for help in building your business. Here's an example conversation of the exact script you should use to invite people to your event. Ring, ring. Hey, this is Gus with ABC Realty. How's it going today? Banter, banter, back and forth. That's great. Hey, guess what? I wanted to invite you to my next client event. I'm holding a big first time home buyer class at my office. I'd love to have you attend so I can help walk you through the entire process, step by step, of purchasing a home in this crazy market. Wait for the response. It doesn't matter what they say. Thank them anyway. Awesome. Thank you so much for thinking about that. A quick question: who do you know that might be able to benefit from the event? Anyone you can think of that I can invite to this event. And just sit back and shut up and see what they say. Anyone from work, anyone from church, anyone from the PTA you might think can benefit from an event like this. And let's see what they say, okay? You're basically asking them for help in building your business. Who else can benefit from some great real estate education? Whoever they say, thank them. Even if they don't have anyone to send you, thank them for considering it, and you'll follow up with them at a later date. Folks, personally, I started my client events just with in person classes at my brokerage. Once I had more business and I had more budget, I moved on to events at restaurants. I rented out a skating rink. I did a big barbecue at the park for everyone. Do the events according to your budget, but it can be as simple as having a class in person or over Zoom, as long as you use that as the reason to give your entire database a call, inviting them to the event and asking them for those referrals. Regardless of the kind of event you throw for your client database, the most important part of the call is the last part, which I call the ask. Okay. You're going to ask them for referrals, other people that can attend your real estate event. And even if it's not a real estate event, you can simply ask them for help building your business. Who do they know that might need some help with real estate over the next year? Do they know anyone? That is the single most important part of the phone call. And if you ask that question at least to 200 people 4 times a year, you should be able to close 20 to 30 transactions every single year. I know it because that's exactly what I did and what I've seen my clients do over the years. Step number 3 is grow your database. Folks, I got to admit, I made a big mistake when I was doing this the first time around. I started with a list of 200 people, and within 3 years, it had grown to a list of almost 300 people. but I should have been more intentional in growing my database. I should have reached 300 people in year one. I only ever added my clients, my new clients to my database. I could have added anyone that I built a personal relationship with. Do not make that same mistake. I recommend that you set a weekly goal of adding one or two new people you connect with to your Met database. Once you realize the size and the success of your business is dependent on the amount and quality of the people in your personal database, you will religiously add one, two, three, or more people to it every single week because that's what's going to help blow up your business. Now, sometimes growing your database is not the easiest thing in the world, but there are several activities that can help you out. You can add people through networking events, people you have a connection with. You can add new people when you're at line at Starbucks. Anyone you strike a conversation with and have a great personal connection with should go directly into your personal database. But that's not all. You can also add people that you meet at open houses, through door knocking, through cold calling, circle prospecting, social media marketing. But here's the bar: it shouldn't just be anyone that you have a conversation with, it should be the people that you have a strong personal connection with. That if you reach back out to them, they would know who's on the line. So keep the bar high and make sure you're always adding one, two, or even more new people to your Med database every single week using these strategies. Folks, that is it. Those are my best recommendations on how to make your database the true foundation of your business by building it, marketing to it, and growing it consistently throughout the year. If you find the way to implement these steps and focus on your database, you will create a long term business that can withstand shifts in the market, the recessions, the hot sellers market, and anything that can be thrown against you. You will be more resilient when you have a foundation as strong as your personal database that will allow you to invest in other lead generation strategies like ISAs, prospecting, online lead generation, and more.